If you care about photography and imaging, then obviously the Pure series should be your first choice. Because Huawei has indeed put a lot of effort into the imaging department. So now, we can take a more official look at the Huawei Pure 80 Pro Plus and Pure 80 Ultra, especially focusing on the major upgrades in imaging this time. Most people are interested in the industry's first dual camera in one lens, but many overlook that this main camera is actually the workhorse for everyday shooting. There are many key upgrades in this main camera. Both the Pure 80 Pro Plus and the Pure 80 Ultra feature a RYYB 1-inch sensor with an equivalent 24mm focal length and a physical variable aperture ranging from f/1.6 to f/4.0. The main highlight here is that the 80 Ultra's main camera takes things a step further by upgrading its ultra-high dynamic range hardware components. It's really top-notch. Let's look at a set of shots in a scene with complex colors and high dynamic range. The two Huawei flagships produce almost identical color rendering, and with the help of the Hongfeng imaging system, the sense of light and shadow is even more pronounced in the sky transitions and the fabric textures. Another advantage of the main camera's variable aperture is that it allows for more precise control over the amount of incoming light. It also achieves better depth of field blur. Sharpness. No doubt, when you zoom in, you clearly see it captures much more detail than competitors. Next, we brought in Samsung's top-tier flagship for comparison. In the same scene and lighting, the Pure 80 Ultra shows a much clearer change in light and shadow intensity on the slanted surfaces of the sky and wall. Details are rich without smudging. In this set of sample photos, the four colors of the windmill, red, yellow, blue, and green, are all accurately reproduced by Huawei, basically matching what you see with the naked eye. In comparison, other models are affected by the lighting environment. In this set of main camera sample shots, Huawei manages to keep the colors accurate while making the overall image brighter, meaning more light information is preserved. What's important is that the highlights aren't overexposed. This is an improvement compared to previous years. If you think that's not convincing enough, let's look at another set of main camera shots, this time with a person in a near backlit environment. So, looking back at this set of sample photos, since Huawei can capture more stops of light, the overall dynamic range of the samples is also higher. So how big is the actual difference in video recording? Let's skip the mid and low-end models and go straight to comparing the recognized benchmarks. Huawei's Pure 80 Ultra, for example, delivers a much cleaner overall image. The skin tones of people are quite accurate and aren't affected by the ambient lighting, so they don't appear yellowish. Also, the control over lighting is excellent. While reducing brightness, the dark areas remain pure and clear. There's no need to even mention the clarity, it's obvious. The details on the model's face, including the edges of the clothing, are all quite sharp. Let's keep looking at the effects on these stages. Take this video clip as an example. When we zoom into the same frame, you can see the difference between the two. Although the overall image from the competitor's stage is brighter, the subject's face appears noticeably overexposed. Now that we understand the principle, let's jump right into shooting a scene with a flaming candle. For this part, we've specifically chosen candles with colored flames. You can clearly see that Huawei's color reproduction of the candle flame is noticeably more true to life. Similar scenarios can also be extended to things like fireworks and pyrotechnics. Next, let's switch up the real-life scenario, still using this video as an example. Even with complex lighting, the white clothing on the person hasn't been overexposed and is preserved well. This is the most obvious advantage of a super large integration capacitor. Of course, this increases full scene capacity. This cup here is simply not enough. You also need the powerful computing capability of the ISP, requiring strong processing power. So, with the chip's AI capabilities and video algorithms, by controlling exposure, color, noise, detail, and focus, overexposed areas can be accurately restored. The overall effect in dark areas also matches human eye perception. Moving outdoors, in an even dimmer environment than this set, let's compare the sky portion with Huawei's color rendering. Its restoration is actually closer to what the naked eye perceives. What's important is that while preserving the dark areas, the Lotus lamp's lighting doesn't show obvious overexposed details. The restoration is spot on. Next, we continue by bringing in Samsung's ultra-premium model for comparison. Especially when the blue LED lights are already very bright, the competitor here actually turns the white into purple. From the actual image on the left, you can see that the overexposed area is actually white. This scene better illustrates the issue of highlight overflow. You can see that throughout the entire Ferris wheel, Huawei's color rendering remains accurate. There's also an interesting effect on Huawei's side, because it's equipped with a variable aperture. When shooting these kinds of lights, it can create a starburst effect. The atmosphere is absolutely on point. After finally seeing the main camera's capabilities, it's still impressively strong. Comparing them with a full score of 100, everyone, 2 lenses sharing one large sensor, which is pretty amazing. In actual use, when switching from 3.7x to 10x zoom, the internal mechanical structure moves the optical lenses and the light blocking plate so that only one lens is used for close-up imaging. If you're in a quiet environment at this moment, you can even hear the sound of the motor moving. If you directly compare it with competitor models, the Pure 80 Ultra, just in terms of clarity at 3.7x, actually has even richer detail than the competitor's 5x. In other words, Huawei's Pure 80 Ultra has really found a great balance between image quality, multiple focal lengths, and the control of lens module size. Switching to another set of clarity levels is no problem either. And even in scenes with complicated lighting, when paired with stage mode, the final results are still excellent. Also, the 3.7x zoom is even more advantageous in concert settings like this. If you switch to 10x zoom, the effect of the Pure 80 Ultra becomes even more pronounced. There's also an extra feature. If you miss someone's facial expression in a complex scene, the dynamic photo function lets you go back and relive those wonderful moments at any time. The overall image quality in dynamic photos is also noticeably higher compared to other brands. How does the dual telephoto lens perform in video recording? We compared 3.7x and 10x zoom levels. Let's see for yourselves. After that, it's the ultra-wide angle. Which one do you think takes better photos? Is not a show of skill as many people say, but it can put technology to work for what the human eye sees. After watching this video, you can check Huawei's official website. About the introduction of these lenses, especially with the main camera, that's when you'll really understand. Having full confidence in mastering light and shadow. Stepping away from just comparing specs and returning to the true value of the product itself, maybe this is what Huawei means by technological equality.